All right, so welcome to today's podcast. This is Scott Engler, published author and thought leader on contemporary job search strategies and really optimizing LinkedIn, the site with over 95% of recruiters looking for you. So today's topic is focused for my people. I work with 99% of my clients are baby boomers. And when I say baby boomers, actually someone pointed out to me the other night technically what year they were born between. I'm saying roughly 45 to 65 years old, give and take a few years, just depending on, outliers. But this is a big thing for a lot of people. And this podcast is expanding on a recent post of mine on the Career Premium site on LinkedIn that got a lot of positive responses. So, I wanted to do it in a podcast, and it could reach more people this way as well. So here's the deal. More and more with the people I work with and talk to all the time, there's a very big shift in the job search and a high level of sensitivity with age discrimination in our workplace. And I'm continuously surprised just how many people hold this belief. And it kind of reminds me, because I work with a lot of female leaders as well that are in that age bracket I discussed. It kind of reminds me of a lot of their own limiting beliefs around being a woman and being an effective leader and all that stuff. And one of the reasons it's surprising to me is because I so don't see them like that, and I so don't hold those same fears and beliefs for them, that I forget that they're internalizing it. And so what I mean by that is, obviously, I think my clients are great that are baby boomers. Otherwise, I wouldn't be working with them. And I obviously see their potential and feel very confident and optimistic in their ability to land the next job they want, or else I wouldn't be very wise from a business standpoint to take them on as clients. So that being said, a lot of times the job search could be confusing for people. And what seems to happen, right, because as most of you know, if you're listening to this, you've probably had some type of experience where, whether it was, implied, maybe said directly, usually not, but you took some experience or recent experiences that, maybe you didn't hear back from a company or they went with someone else, to mean that you were too old. And sometimes that could look a variety of ways. Recently I talked to this person locally whose wife was struggling finding work, and I asked him, I always like to have people clarify what things mean to him. So he mentioned the age discrimination thing, which didn't surprise me. I was like, specifically, what made you guys think that the reason she didn't get this job was from age? And he said, well, the person interviewing her was like 25, 30 years younger than her. So I said, okay. And so, obviously that person didn't say directly, you're too old to work here. But that was their takeaway. The other thing I see happen a lot is when people are told they're overqualified, that they start to take that as the age thing as well. And I noticed a lot of people that I work with and talk to are threatened in a sense by the millennial generation, right? Because they think it's like, well, they're quicker, faster, better at technology, could use the newer, systems and processes, and I can't compete with them. So here's the truth. You ready? In my opinion, nothing could be further from the actual truth. So here's the deal. I choose to work with baby boomers for a variety of reasons. One of them being that I love the collaboration. So some of the things that I observe in my clients is that they are hard workers. They have a much more realistic time frame of things. They've had to already overcome many obstacles in their life, professionally and other areas, where they understand that hard work and dedication and consistency are necessary to achieve a desired result. Makes my line of work so much more enjoyable than, you know, someone expecting to land a dream job in a week because they saw someone do it on YouTube. I'm not going to mention any generations, but if you're listening to this, you probably understand the ones that have a poor sense of time frame. And the other thing is they have a better attitude about things. They're less entitled. They're more open and teachable. And the truth is they're super talented, right? I mean, when I work with someone, let's say, you know, just to give you, you know, a pertinent example, that's, you know, 52 years old, been in their career for 30 years. I mean, the amount of contribution that they've continued to have, whether it was at the same job the whole time, or maybe they work for 2 different companies, or a lot of times, you know, in 30 years there's been a merger. I mean, it's incredible what they've done for companies. So those things are very important. I mean, when you have a track record of excellence and commitment to your organizations that you've worked for, to me that speaks volumes. And when you've already learned and developed very important skills such as leading a team, working within a team, understanding team dynamics, you know, understanding ups and downs of organizations over the years, understanding how to navigate maybe changes and mergers. I mean, those kind of things are really invaluable. And not just the experience, but also the personality traits. Because my thing is, you could always, what I always come back to is, you could teach somebody how to use a system. You know, those things that, you know, the baby boomers that I work with are fearful of, is like, you know, you could teach someone to use a platform or service, and those things are ever evolving, right? But the things that you really can't teach people are traits like positive attitude, having, you know, integrity, having, you know, core values, having, you know, having honesty be a big deal, having an impact be a big deal, you know, being focused on the contribution of the organization being a big deal. Those are things that you can't teach to people, really. I mean, those are things that, you know, they're going to have, and of course, you know, it depends on management, but in the end, those are things that are less teachable to me, because I'd much rather have, and this is me, right? I would much rather have a baby boomer working for me that has a positive attitude and is willing to learn and work hard. And it's like, Scott, well, I might not know how to use Dropbox and this, but like I'm willing to learn, and, you know, here's what I really want to do for you, and here's what I've done in the past. I would take that kind of person any day of the week over somebody that might be like a whiz. You know, let's just use an example, like a 23-year-old whiz at Dropbox and this, that has a piss poor attitude, that's super entitled, that has no experience but think they know it all, that wants a raise after 2 weeks when they haven't contributed anything, and doesn't understand how to work as a team player, and is just bulldozing people and the other people that are working for me, telling me how to run my company, you know, whatever it is. So, that's my personal view. A lot of my clients, in fact, I was like, wow, you know, I wish I could afford them at this stage, because I would totally hire them. And I sincerely mean that. And so the thing to focus on is the fit for you, right? And so, you know, what I tell people is, if the person that you'd be working under is 30 years younger than you, it might not be a good fit for you. And I don't know, it all just depends. I would investigate the culture more so than anything. But the truth is that you are deserving of being paid what you deserve, at the role you deserve, with an organization that values and appreciates those things about you, that you're seasoned, that you have a wealth of experience, that you've navigated tons of different things throughout your career, that you've shown a consistency, you know, of impact and incredible attributes to organizations. Those types of things, like you will attract those kind of organizations, and the ones that don't appreciate you, they just don't deserve you. You know what I mean? And so what I try to bring it back for people is to focus on what's most important to them, and also, putting the ball back in your court and realizing it's not just up to them if they want you or not, that you have a say in this too. So, for example, you might not want to work for, a 50-person organization where 90% of the staff is, between the ages of 20 and 25. It just might not be a good fit for you. You know what I mean? And so pay close attention to more of the feelings, right? Because sometimes, again, I try to stay away from generalizing too much, because while I say, I take a baby boomer over a 23-year-old arrogant person, if I met a 25-year-old that was, had a lot of wisdom, and they've, worked for their parents or whatever, or volunteered, and they had a great head on their shoulders and positive attitude, and I could see that through our interactions and just what they've done, then I would gladly hire them. You know what I mean? And I try not to let age, be the deciding factor, right? So I like to look more at character and personality traits and things like that. But really, again, just to bring it back, my encouragement to you today is, if you're listening, is that there are organizations out there that value all the wealth of experience, insight, positive attributes that you have to offer. You just have to be, start believing it, you know what I mean, and put it out there and own it. Because when my clients are able to break through that limiting belief that they had about the age thing, you'd be shocked at just the transformation that happens within them, and their confidence and the opportunities they start to attract. It's just night and day. And so there really needs to be that shift that takes place. So, once you do that, then you're going to get more selective of who you want to work for and who you don't, and kind of feel out the organization and align your own values with theirs. And you'll start to find, as you go through this process, hopefully with an experienced professional, that you will start to see that you are worthy and deserving of your next role, and you will attract and find the organizations that value that. So that's what I got for today. If you're listening to this and you could identify, and you're a baby boomer in that age group, and you're like, wow, this Scott guy really gets me. Again, I'd say 99% of my clients are baby boomers. So truly an honor to work with you guys. And I'm happy to continue to serve you and help you land your next role, optimize your LinkedIn profile, learn how to use some of those social media things that maybe some of those young kids are more active on. So that's where my one of my expertise and specialized skill sets is optimizing your LinkedIn, where over 95% of recruiters are. So if you're interested in talking to me and getting help with results much sooner and breaking through those barriers of the age thing with a professional who continuously takes people through this process, my recommendation for you is to send me an email with the headline "Serious Inquiry." And again, I do get a lot of messages, so I might not see yours otherwise. So send me an email with Serious Inquiry, and we could, kind of start talking about next steps. January and February are the biggest hiring months of the year. I'm going to keep saying that for a little while because they are. And so happy to get people started. All right, that's all I got for today. Don't forget to click the subscribe button and check out some of my other podcasts, and wish all of you continued success. And don't forget that the path to experiencing different results begins with asking different questions and taking different actions, one step at a time.